Garten of Banban. You know it, and well, you probably don't love it. But it's hard not to admit that this game took the internet by storm earlier this year when the first two chapters were released, and not for good reasons either. Created and published by the Euphoric brothers, these two for a couple of years have been making some less than stellar games. Egghead Gumpty, Life on a Pizza, and Swallowed the Blue Remastered are just a few releases that these brothers have made in the past. The craziest one, though, is without a doubt Introvert, a teenager simulator. The game where you have to stop someone from shooting up a school. Hold on, what the absolute fuck is this? Garten of Banban, however, is the Euphoric brothers' magnum opus. Their creme de la creme, their absolute best of the best. And it fucking sucks. Slow pacing, horrendous characters and voice acting, and even the overall gameplay are just a few things to note when talking about this franchise. It really seemed like the developers took all the bad characteristics of the already controversial genre of mascot horror and made a what not to do game. It doesn't help either that when the first free chapter was released to the public, with it only having around 10 minutes of playtime, the Euphoric brothers decided to launch a merch page and then put their next release behind a paywall. It's just very clear that the sole intention behind this was to earn a quick buck. But with chapter 3 now being released to the public looking like a very confusing game, what is this? I think it's time I discuss both chapters 1 and 2 in one singular video to show you all why Garten of Banban is disliked by many. Starting off with... So the story of the game is actually quite interesting to say the least. So you are an unnamed, silent protagonist whose child has been kidnapped and last seen in the Banban kindergarten. After reading some notes that you find on the ground, you find out that the mascots of the kindergarten have gained sentience and murdered everyone in here after closing hours. This story sucks! Who would have guessed that the game that tries really hard to be like its successors blatantly copied its successor's story? Fuck me, man. Literally, the first thing that you do in this game is obtain a drone used to push buttons and solve puzzles. Just like in the Poppy's Playtime intro, what the absolute fuck is this? Throughout this chapter, you'll encounter one of, I think, 7 antagonists of this kindergarten, which is the bird. Wow, so scary seeing a pink finch here. I'm pissing myself as we speak. But once throwing it down an endless ball pit, you go down an elevator and meet another extremely scary guy. And then that's it. That's the entire story. In fact, I've talked more about this story than I have witnessed what's going on in the game's plot. The entire plot gets driven forth with notes, at least in this chapter, which is the laziest way to drive the plot, hands down. I never liked a game that had collectibles, let alone ones that are needed to understand the game, but whatever though, let's talk about the gameplay. To start things off, everything looks bad. I'm talking like your shit drawing of a tree that you made in 4th grade could look better than anything in this game. Like, everything has a plasticky look, with most things either being a solid color or extremely shiny. It looks like everything was taken from Unity's presets and put in a mixed matched form. And no, I would not take the excuse of that's what it was supposed to look like because it's a kindergarten. Fun fact though, the game's props like the table and the chair has major troubles with collision. So I shit you not, the most entertainment I had coming out of Garten of Banban was being thrown around a classroom by a kindergarten chair. Because we all know that's not the reason why everything looks awful. The map design is very eh. You got a lobby, storage area, lunchroom, classroom, terrible looking ball pit, playground, inaccessible area, and an office. All these places are widely open spaced areas with nothing notable going on in each room. Except for the classroom, which showcases yellow glass that apparently the drone is so afraid of, it won't spawn near it and it will break it in about 2 seconds to 4 minutes. Oh, and speaking of drone, this was one of the most tedious features of any game whatsoever. With the drone, you can send it out to press buttons on the wall and literally nothing else. It moves at such a snail's pace that already it makes the drone a shit feature, but it's also so unresponsive. I've had moments where I tried to call it back or move it to an area and it just doesn't do it. Snail whenever you decide to walk or even run. And I also noticed for like a split second, your character does not register your movement, which is just so annoying. On top of that, at times, your character just slides around the place like the floor is made out of ice, which just makes moving around just a little bit more tedious. But with your movement out of the way, let me talk about your one and only horror moment that you experience in this game. That is, after you get a bunch of keys to open up doors, and after getting 6 keys to obtain yet another key, you get a hammer to open up a ball pit. You make your way over to another puzzle that asks you the colors of all the mascots in this kindergarten, which gives you just another key. But once getting it, the pink bird very slowly makes its way over to you. Wait, hold on. It's still coming. just have to... Oh, it's here now, okay. Now you have to use your drone to open up a panel to... Why is it walking slowly towards me? Is it high? What the fuck is wrong with its eyes? Okay. Once pressing the button, you have to use your shit movement to maneuver through a moving platform and press an emergency stop button to throw the bird off the platform. If the bird gets to you, it does the really shit jump scare of pan and zoom to its face, shake the camera, and now that loud ass scream. As if loud equals scary, it's not, by the way. All in all, this is just a very lackluster game. There was nothing really shown to the player that would interest you in the story or even garner some questions about what's going on. There was no real gameplay at all. There was just a find the egg puzzle, a memory puzzle. Gee whiz, man, please don't make the game too exciting. And the only scare in the game was this little fucking chicken. What is this?
Oh, shiver my timbers! Shut up, man!
Anyways, this would be the Euphoric Brothers' first take on Garten of Banban, and it obviously flopped. Well, actually not really. It garnered a lot of attention on a lot of eyes, not just from the core audience of 12-year-olds, but also a lot of people from the internet. But apart from having a nothing burger game, the series wouldn't get too much hate. That is, until the second chapter, being... The game starts off with you having to press a clock to forward time in a random birthday room with the caption saying, for a parent looking for their missing child, time is a delicate matter. And I mean, the Euphoric Brothers are not wrong, time is indeed a delicate matter in this emergency situation, so like, why is this a thing? I mean, this same exact, I guess you'll call this a minigame, I don't know what the fuck to call this, is presented in the first chapter as well, and it does absolutely nothing. It doesn't give you a small teaser for what you're in for with this chapter, it doesn't tell you anything regarding the story, it's just there. Hell, I don't even think I've seen that room while playing this chapter. Anyways though, everything picks up right after the events of the first chapter. Anyways, you find yourself in a dark room with the green blob guy who took down your elevator on the ground collapsed. You are now in the laboratory lobby of the kindergarten of Banban, where it seems like these mascots here are being created and tested. After wandering around the lobby area, you will end up in the office wing area, where somebody on the intercom tells you that getting the light blue keycard will get you access to your missing child. By the way, the voice acting is very bad.
If I recall correctly, only maintenance workers held the light blue keycard. So you're gonna have to go down to the maintenance room and look there.
I think there's about 3 beings that can talk in this chapter, that being the office guy, the cum monster, and Big Snail. And you know, it is cool to include voice acting, it's definitely a step up from the last chapter, but the voice actors either sound like they're way too close to the microphone, or they recorded without a pop filter, because the amounts of peaking and obnoxious noises that produce when making the P sound is so apparent.
Over the course of the semester, you will learn to add, subtract, divide, multiply, and so much more. Hello?
It kinda sounds like a Tired Cast video. Ooh, self-burn. After solving a puzzle that genuinely showcases you an answer key, you need to go down into the maintenance area to retrieve the light blue key. But oh no, the blue spider monster that was never shown until now is down there and ready to kill you. But it's okay, as you'll be able to easily evade the monster by going down the answer key path. Once going back into the office area now with the light blue key, you get ambushed by the guy who's on the intercom because oh no, he was the plot twist villain and he was actually one of the creations from this Banban kindergarten. Oh my god, I would have never seen that coming, even though his persona was never explored in the first chapter, and his first introduction where you get to meet him is through voice and not by looks. Oh my god, who would have thought this? He steals your key cards and locks you in the medical center of the laboratory, but it's okay because all the key cards taken from you aren't used anymore throughout this chapter. You didn't need to use a light blue key card for this chapter, nor any other key card that you have obtained up to this point, but hey, I mean, at least during your time at the medical center, you encounter a mediocre puzzle that involves drones not just hitting a simple button. I mean, it's just an eye instead of a button, but hey, the game didn't shove the answer in your face, so I'll take it at this point. Garten of Banban 2, 10 out of 10 game, includes an okay puzzle. Once going back into the lobby, you will notice a subtle hint of the green blob guy vanishing from his spot of collapse. Oh my god, guys, Garten of Banban 2, 11 out of 10 game, actually includes subtle hints towards the game. Never mind, what the absolute fuck fuck is that? Why is that here? And why do I not get to see it do anything for the rest of the chapter? Whatever though, you make your way to the final wing of the lobby, which is the actual bedrooms for these creations. During these times, you will encounter a puzzle that'll have you shoot canyons. You also get to meet the white woman version of the bad guy, who at first acts friendly towards you. However though, the woman creature turns out to be a psychotic creature that wants to be a likable and memorable teacher to children, but is actually harmful and dangerous to them. Escaping that area will cause you to finally meet up with the red guy again. He goes on to say something, I don't remember, his lines were very not memorable. It was something like, oh, how the turntables turn. Usually it would be you standing behind this safety glass with us test patients being where you're at. But anyways, I'm the good guy in this situation, and I understand and want to help you find your children, but things are just worse than we could imagine. Oh, and now all the creatures are getting called here. Sorry for betraying you, except I'm not. Bye! And then once you escape that area, that's it. That's the end of the game. This story sucked. Very predictable, especially with the characters that were introduced in this chapter and not the previous one. Like, no shit, this guy was the bad guy. I just met him in a place where everything wants to kill me. And I already have the suspicion that the plot will either go down the route of him trying to gain your trust back only for him to turn on you again, or the creator of the lab is the true bad guy, and these very dangerous test patients are just the pawn to his major scheme. Like, what else could the story be? But who knows though, chapter 3 will probably randomly add in new characters to forward the plot. Gameplay wise, this game was incredibly boring. A lot of puzzles were either repeated from the first chapter, like you having to gather 9 gum and money just like how you had to collect 9 eggs previously, or they were just easy with the game telling you how to do these puzzles. So really at this point, the game just felt like a walking simulator mixed in with mindless puzzles. The drone in the game felt a little bit more responsive, I guess, except it really didn't. The only improvement the drone had was it being a little bit faster, but besides that, have fun trying to maneuver a drone that loves to go 60 miles per hour into a wall. The graphics look just as bad as the first chapter. You can clearly see the Euphoric brothers taking pre-made assets and putting it into their game. There's just a lot of props that look either too shiny or even too detailed to belong in the general environment of the game, if you know what I mean. So fun fact by the way, everybody, but if you take a look at the game's file, more specifically if you decide to take a look at the models within Garten of Banban, you'll see probably the worst ever optimization any game ever had to offer. There are probably thousands, if not tens of thousands of polygons within one model alone, and it's like, why? All you're doing is tanking your game's performance for these not memorable characters, and it also makes me question, why would you ever create new characters out of the blue? You already had 6 antagonists within the game, it was clarified in the first chapter, but now there's 3 new characters added in the second chapter, and that definitely took the most time to create these models for the development process. Like, at this point, you're just wasting everybody's time and ruining the game's performance for nothing, really. And on top of that, the environment of the game just does not look interesting. It's very dark in places. A lot of the map includes like the deepest, darkest pits of hell for some reason that's never really expanded upon, and it just doesn't look good. For the places where you do get to see light and color, it still feels very empty with nothing really notable going down. Other than that though, I genuinely have nothing else to say about this game. Nothing positive, nothing negative. This game just felt like nothing. There was no important story, gameplay felt like a drag, there was nothing interesting to look at. Hell, even the sound design 99% of the time just included the same ambient sound over and over and over again. Oh, and the scares in the game just include a pan and zoom to whatever creature caught you, with it as well just screaming into your headphones until your ears start to bleed. I guess the chasing music is tense and a little scary, although it is reused in the first chapter. And also, it's not tense and scary, it fucking sucks. Overall, I think everybody watching this video can agree that this game was obviously made for kids. I don't think I have, nor will I ever see anyone over the age of 20 willing to play this game no matter the reason. Oh wait, shit, I'm over 20 and I'm playing this game. No, that doesn't matter. This colorful yet dark and dreary game that includes very basic scares, even more basic gameplay, and a story that has just a little hint of basic sprinkled all over it would probably be suitable for a 9-year-old. But does a 9-year-old deserve to play something as bad as this? A game with no passion put into it, by two brothers who have in the past just thrown shit at a wall to see what game of theirs would make it big. For a franchise that is already being milked to death with merch and sequels that cost over 500% compared to its first chapter. This is just a blatant money grab directed towards children because children would eat this shit up. So all in all, kids, if you were watching this video, don't play a soulless game like Garten of Banban. Go play a good horror game made for children, like Doom 3.
Psychological services are free and confidential.
What did you all think of the game? Did you all like it, or hate it because you all didn't like it? Leave it down in the comments. But other than that, I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you guys do like this video, maybe hit that like button and subscribe. But other than that, I will see you all in a later video. Bye for now.